Time ticks and drips away. Days burn, disintegrate. Years roll along and fade. Don't let them slip away. Right here, right now, today. These are the good old days. Right here, right now, today. Hey, these are the good old days.
All right. Well, we are here with part 2 of Cartoons and Cereal. And joining me here at Go Figure is my main man, Zazel.
Good morning.
All the way from tomorrow.
It is tomorrow morning here.
The man, the internet myth, the legend, Gaz is here, ready to thumb kiss until the cows come home. We've also got Dom, the juice box from Toy Dom.
No.
Sorry, let's go by Fruit Punch, but it's gonna be all right. It's fantastic. Welcome to your new nickname, sir. And then all the way in from fighting crime, he's actually the opposite of a juice box. Batman is here.
Batman's here, everybody.
This is Joe, also from Toy Domination. So we have got a room full of just some of the best guys out there. And we're going to quickly take a quick second and say hello to the chat. And I also want to give a big shout out and 1,000 Go Figure points to Payne's Toy Sample for being first in line. That's the kind of attitude that gets to see Sergeant Slaughter before the match.
Wow,
that kind
1,000 Go Figure points. You got to save those up and mail away.
Yeah, they're compared. I'll explain to you what they're for months from now. But also in the chat we have Pericles Dragon Ball Z. He was so close, but Payne just beat him by a second. We've also got Nolan, Ghostbusters and Thundercats coming your way, my friend. All right.
And then the best show I've ever seen, it's called Batman. I don't know if you knew about it.
We'll get there. Don't jump the gun. We got Task Force Figures and Games. He's confirmed they're also both great cartoons. We've got TJC, Stage 2. Here we go. I like to say that I'm the Empire Strikes Back of this event.
Nice.
And for all those guys who were worried, I know there was some concerns going on earlier. It's okay, guys. We can relax. Chad is here. It's cool. Chad's here.
Thank goodness.
Punk buddy.
All of our G.I. Joe fact checking can be done instantly. Right there.
Dom, don't worry about muting while you're shuffling around with your cardboard box for 25 minutes.
Unbelievable.
Sorry.
We've got the
We're supposed to be professionals.
She is not late. She's right on time. We've got Daredevil Dave, right? Yeah, so I was late because I was listening to myself sing a song that Zazel wrote. I don't know who gets the royalties for that, but that's what's happening.
Hey,
Also,
I
do need to come clean and say that in the private chat, I linked the current live stream that we were already in for these guys to jump over to.
You're good. You're good.
That's my bad.
No, don't worry about it.
Classic way to extend your show. Oh, I guess we're here again.
I guess we're here still.
Aussie Legend Classified is here.
Hey.
So that's fantastic. And then loaded up on his Commodore 64 all the way from the space station, Space Commander is sending rockets all the way down here. So we know it's going to be a rocket good time. We've got Gaz. He's in 2 places at once, which is fantastic. Playing with the 3.75. He's here again. That's fantastic. You can bring your toys over. It's great. When you guys did sleepovers and you do cartoons at your buddy's house in the morning, did you bring your toys with you or did you leave your toys at home?
If I was allowed to bring my toys, I would.
Yeah.
It depends if the friend wanted to play with toys. You know, if we were playing with toys,
why were they your friend?
That's a good question. Some people like video games, you know.
That counts.
Yeah, my next door neighbors, Bill and Brad, had all the G.I. Joes, and I didn't. So no, I never brought my toys. I went there to go play with all theirs. So yeah.
Well, that's fantastic.
Yep.
Well, Benjamin's here as well, and he missed seeing those full shelves so much. It really is not the same experience when you go into the toy store. I will say this Christmas I went to Toys R Us here in Canada, and
Flex.
I didn't buy any because I'm not into them, but there was an entire wall of the Funko G.I. Joe 5-point of articulation figures. Mm-hmm. And just seeing that visual was very nostalgic. That was incredible. So that was great.
Are these things?
Yeah, those things.
But Joe.
And it was a wall of Joe. It was fantastic. Yep. Gap After Dark is here. He sees hello, Juice Box. Give me a juice box.
I'll
It's
lean
great.
into it. Take a sip. Take a sip.
Other way.
So I think that's everybody who's in the chat right now. But we're gonna
Tom.
get going here. But I want to say something first and
Go
foremost
ahead.
before getting into talking about cartoons. I don't think there has been before or will be again a cultural phenomenon like the Saturday morning cartoons. It was kind of like this unwritten rule where you didn't call your friends between like 7 and 10. You just didn't bother because you knew that collectively everybody was doing the same thing. And it was so important to us that to miss it was crucial because you didn't know when you'd see that again. If you missed the Mass Effect episode 5, you may never see that again. So
Yeah.
it was this
Yeah.
it was important to see it when it happened. Everybody was doing. We never talked. It was never like, "Oh, are you going to watch cartoons on Saturday?" It's just what you did.
Yeah, it's what you did.
And then at 10:30, the phone would ring. You want to come up and play? You want to come up and play? Like it was this, and we'll never see that again with streaming and with video on demand and with devices and with kids that aren't into Saturday morning cartoons. It really has become a thing of the past, and I think we're worse off for it. Like there was something that like united kids back in the day about like this is something that we all do together, and I miss it. I'm sad that my kids don't have that. It's
Yeah.
I have a pitch to Netflix to bring back Saturday morning cartoons. I can't tell you here because you guys will poach it. But if Netflix,
No
I
trust.
know
No
is
trust.
watching, give me a call, and I got a great pitch where we can take things in and get back to basics here. So we'll get back to the.
I love the idea of that. That'd be great.
So at my house, we still do Saturday morning cartoons. Like this morning, we popped on. We'll go through a series, and like we'll watch one or two depending on how long they are. But yeah, we still definitely do Saturday morning cartoons here. We don't eat cereal necessarily. We eat breakfast, but that's the time when we wake up, come downstairs. I get some coffee, and then we have whatever, and we get to pick the show. Now, obviously, it's not on a network television channel. That's a slot time. We get to pick a thing, and we go through the series like that. But yeah, it's definitely more of an individualized experience nowadays, right?
Yeah.
There's not the everyone knows they're watching the same thing kind of hive mind, but yeah, you're right. And I was talking to Brick something about that too, and he said the same thing. Like the more divergent we become, the less we share in that aspect. So I guess all of us have that thing in common, at our core. We all knew where we were Saturday mornings.
Absolutely, and you as like a Gen X great father are trying to recreate a Saturday morning cartoon experience.
He's a decent father.
Well, I'm also a juice box, so let's
He has limitations. When they jump on him, all his juices go everywhere.
Yeah, and I did the same thing, but it's not the experience they once had where it was like universally this is happening, and it was I never once asked my buddies, did you watch cartoons this morning? It was like, can you believe what happened on G.I. Joe or Thundercats, whatever we were watching? It was just a known commodity.
I actually remember the exact moment when I was in school and someone was like, tomorrow's Saturday. I'm like, and they're like, it's Saturday morning cartoons. I'm like, what are you talking about now? They're like, it's Saturday morning cartoons. And like 5 kids were like, it's Saturday morning cartoons. I was like, I don't know. So I remember the next day I woke up, I was like, Mom, it's Saturday morning cartoons. Where are they? She's like, what do you mean? I was like, where are the Saturday morning? So she like turned on the TV and I started seeing, I was like, how did I not? Why didn't you tell me? Like, it was like mind blowing to me, but I learned from the kids' school and I was like, this has been going on for all of my 5 years of life, so
100% of your life it's been going on and you're not aware. That's how bad your mom was. She's like, he doesn't need the cartoons, he's fine. He's got his juice box costume, he's great.
This was my childhood. Look, for everyone who's just got here, I'm an E-frame, and that's very clear. Right? I'm from Exo Squad. I'm a dog fighting
very clear
in a far future. Look,
whoa!
I mean, you're obviously an Exos.
My radar dish came off. So.
Oh my god! Yes.
Relaxing. Thought you were a pack of Marlboros.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
That's not bad. It's not bad.
I think we should.
I still think transforming French fries is better. But.
I think we should screenshot this and send it to Marlboros. If we got a new mascot for you. It's Dom. You can really dominate the cigarette market.
It's because the radar dish fell off, but now that helps, right?
Oh, you're Exo Squad.
See, the radar dish is what did it.
Yeah,
I knew it.
I see it now.
You were off our radar earlier.
Costume fell. Oh, good one, Adam. Oh, dad puns. You get 1,000 Adam
Zazzle, it took
points.
Zazzle an entire hour to get that.
Who's the
Oh,
dish?
your Exo Squad.
So I had a little bit of a conundrum when I was growing up. We lived in a small town in the Northern Territory for some of my childhood, and we only had 2 channels. And the channel that the cartoons were on, the opposite of that would be whatever sports and news was on playing at the same time.
Scrambled porn. Yeah.
Right. So
Family show here, Dom. Family show.
you must,
sorry,
really,
sorry.
you must really like eggs if you're into scrambled. Anyway, so a shout out to Classified, because when Looney Tunes was playing, Family Feud would be playing on the opposite channel. And because the adults want to watch Family Feud, we'd often miss out on Looney Tunes. But if sports were playing, we had to sit down and watch cricket because Dad wanted to watch cricket, which means that we didn't get to watch whatever cartoons was playing during the cricket. I don't know how many times I can say cricket, but
Keep going.
Just keep it going. We'll hear crickets if I do.
What was Phil? What was his worst Christmas gift ever? Wasn't that
It was a bag.
bag
Just
for
an
cricket?
empty bag for a cricket set that it didn't come with the cricket set. It was just a bag for it.
In case he gets one later on.
It was a bag for milk, I think.
Do you have to buy the bag separate and pour the milk into it?
No, so it comes in a bag, and inside the bag is 3 smaller bags, and you put that bag into the jug.
That's last episode. We're moving forward now. We're moving.
Yeah,
forward.
We're
moving
still
on.
talking about cartoons and cereal, Dom.
Yeah, so
okay.
cartoons and cereal, and
My
I
bad,
had
my
my
bad.
one bowl of
Zazzle,
Oh.
out of curiosity, since I have no idea and haven't watched cricket in my entire life, and hopefully
Yeah.
never will, how long is an average game of cricket, and how many cartoons
It's
are you
still
missing while you're
playing
watching
now.
this?
The same game that I was watching as a kid is still literally happening right now.
goes on and on.
It's a lot of missed cartoons.
Yeah, tell me
Very
about
dedicated.
it. Yeah.
So there was a lot of cartoons when we were kids. Like we were like almost too many. If we started making a list here, we would just keep going because there was like some that would have like half a season, some that would come in like we switched out. There were some that were syndicated for after school and also made it to Saturday morning. There was all kinds. So like it was just a countless amount of cartoons we saw as a kid. And so when we were talking, what are your 2 favorites? I was like, well, I have fond memories of them all. And I had to go back and think of the ones that I definitely couldn't miss because there was also competing networks. Like ABC had their cartoons, and then NBC had their cartoons,
Mm-hmm.
and then later on Fox had theirs. So you did like a little remote
Fox
shuffle.
Kids.
Yeah,
Fox
yeah,
Kids.
yeah.
So you
Look
were
at you
good one.
adding up all these channels for cartoons, and I was struggling with one.
right. And so you'd be flipping around, and now if you watch my channel, like I'd say majority of my videos tend to be Motu, Masters of the Universe kind of geared, and so you'd probably think Motu was my favorite cartoon, but the cartoon was good and I liked it, but the basis for my storytelling wasn't like, and lots of guys our age say it's like the mini comics was their source. It was not. It was simply the box art, and the box art in Motu was so vastly different than the cartoon stuff.
Yeah.
Like it painted this like real like Conan gritty world.
Yeah.
And the cartoon was like kind of
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
and it was good, and I loved it because it was He-Man and it was doing stuff. But the basis of my play came from the stories I made up from those box images.
Yep. 100%.
That's funny.
Same
I
thing.
think mine's pretty similar because I didn't really watch the cartoon, and all I really remember is like I watched the cartoon, but the memory of it is gone. Let's put it that way. So when I was playing with the toys, it was really about the toys themselves and with the packaging they came in. And I guess I read the mini comics, but not really. I was really just looking at the pictures and going like, "That's over there. Let's play with this toy."
Exactly.
But yeah, the artwork on the back of those boxes and the fronts, it was spectacular.
That's exactly what I imagined in my head was the same poses, the faces. Like there was a little more violence to it too, like the grimacing,
Sort of a horrifying
like,
landscape.
Oh,
like
yeah,
it looks treacherous just to walk across
Yeah.
whatever rocky field they're in.
Yep.
But now I'll say this: when it came to a cartoon that did that well, that created that kind of incredible barbarian style world well, if we look at, I think that the toys we got for that line were like, they looked as close as any toy line did to the cartoons. Like
Some were it was hit and miss, but mostly hit. I think.
like there was the odd ones that were a little
Yeah.
off. But a lot of the ones that were off, they like made another figure. Like we got a
That's
second.
true. I honestly found Mumra a lot off, but I guess he does get better.
Yeah, he does get better. But we got a second Snarf, we got a second Wily Cat, Tiger. Like they went back and did things well. And lots of guys like to hate on LJN. So I posted a picture on my Instagram of some LJN Thundercats the other day, and I was like, I think these are some of the best figures LJN did. And the comment was, it's hard to find a sentence that says LJN and the best in the same sentence. they weren't so great. But I would disagree. I think if you look at the LJN figures we got, like when the LJN wrestling figures came out, nobody complained. They were just rubber toys, but we loved them, and they just had countless events. Like we just played with those until they stopped making them. And the Battlematic action, people make fun of it. I love it. To this day, it's like still nostalgic to hit that button.
Now the LGN wrestlers were very limited articulation with like one arm gimmick or whatever, right?
No, that was Hasbro.
No articulation.
LJN were like dog toys. They were just a chunk of rubber.
Okay. Because I was gonna say those other ones, I remember like looking at them and being like, these are dumb, but when you start playing with them, like these are incredibly fun as a kid. Like they were so much fun to like knock around. And I think the same thing with the Thundercats. They felt heavy, right? They were like heavy is a sign of reliability.
Hey,
but they were good. They had a gimmicky action, but it didn't get in the way of play. And
it didn't.
They were like I liked them better than He-Man, but I had a bigger He-Man collection.
And I want to go on record as saying that like often as adult toy collectors, we can be retroactively critical of toys that came out in the 80s.
Yeah.
So when the comment is out there, like you just mimicked it, not that you were saying it, but you mimicked it, is that like, the gimmick limits articulation. No, it doesn't limit articulation. His arm moved, and that was fine. I never once had.
No, I meant as a kid because like I wanted to, like the clicking. If that thing broke too, you're like, oh man, like it's like then it's just a limp sausage there, and you're like, oh man. So sometimes it got in my way, but because the features.
My Lion-O,
was the character.
I played with it so much; it's so loose. All the arms and legs wobble around, but I mean, but it's still like. I still think they did good articulation on those, and it didn't limit play.
5 points, and they had a fun gimmick, and then the Lino had the light up eyes, and Mumra had the light up eyes, which was incredible. Right? That was.
I was always kind of I don't mind 5 POA. It's not my favorite because I love. That's why I love GI Joe so much. The rubber band, the bendable knees and arm and elbows, like a ball and socket head for most of them. Like that's pretty incredible for what you were getting at the time.
Absolutely.
But Thundercats, I was always just like, but I was okay with like a superpowers where it just bent their knees and like that was like I was okay with like straddling that line of like it's almost 5 POA. But Thundercats was just a little too stiff for me. I still loved them, but
I preferred turtle toys, which are very limited, over Thundercats because I didn't have to worry about that clicking arm. Like it really bothered me.
Also,
as a
the
kid.
turtles and like a He-Man toy, although they are limited articulation, they're in squat actiony poses where their legs and arms are already bent. So I think that was the difference for me. Back to Thundercats.
So far, no box drop yet.
The other thing about the Thundercats cartoon that was the first time I remember was that what happened today affected next week.
Yeah.
So, like, if Lion-O, did something this week, then next week they'll be like, well, remember when Lion-O didn't get the star idea or whatever they're going to up. But it mattered, and it wasn't just like a clean reset every episode. And so, as a kid, I was like, I really can't miss these episodes. So, Thundercats was the one that I knew I had to tune in for. I was like, I need to see it in case something happens. There was never an in case something happens on any other show.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so, not only was it a wicked intro, the animation was unlike anything I'd seen before because it's kind of like cross.
Yeah.
It seemed to like really matter. The toys were really well represented, so I thought that was
agreed.
Really, so I just think that it really hit all the marks going on. So I love Thundercats so much that I came home from school one day and I didn't have any Thundercats yet. And there was I'm talking, Dom. I'm talking.
Dom, when you're moving your cardboard box.
I'm not going to do sleight of hand magic
Get
tricks
back in your box.
on your show, Dom.
I had to get it off my head. I'm sorry. Was that really that distracting? I feel like you.
No,
made
it's
it
loud.
distracting.
It's loud.
Is it? Oh, I had no idea.
So loud.
All right, sure.
But I came home from school one day, didn't have any Thundercats, and there was a carded Panthro on my bed. And I was like, Mom, I ran and gave her a big hug, and she was like, no, it's your friend's John's birthday on Sunday.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh, the rug was pulled out.
And I was like,
Ruined.
no, this is the worst.
did she say? But then I also got you this one, you know,
No.
or something? No.
She goes, she said this to me. She goes, you can make the choice. You don't have to go to the birthday party if you don't want to.
Oh,
And I was like, yeah, not going. Not going.
that's dark.
Sophie's
I
choice.
took his birthday present on my own, and I thought it was great. I was like, this is fantastic. And then my sister told him at school.
Oh, rough.
He was like, he can't come because he wanted to keep your present. And I was like,
Oh, ouch.
so that's
She
when I
just threw
stopped-
you under the bus.
That's when I
so
stopped,
good.
stopped being selfish. I was like, being selfish always backfires. I got to stop it. I got to do
Yeah.
it right.
That's too good. That's so funny.
Yeah. So that the Thundercats, and so I still collect them. They're still one of my favorite ones. I got a
Yeah.
Burgle yesterday, which is a big deal. You know, didn't want one as a kid, but I'm dangerously
Actually,
close to finishing the line.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, that's what I mean, you were kind of saying that about the plot moving on, and if you miss something, you miss something. But like, they would go out and explore and like find a new civilization of some
Yes,
like robo bears
I
or
like
whatever,
it,
and then
yes.
that was it. You met them, and if you
Yes.
if you missed that episode, the next time they come up, they're like, we're old friends with them. We go way back. We've helped them before. Or like that group of people would vouch for the next group of people and be like, we trust the Thundercats. They've done this for us in the past. And I'm like, that was kind of unheard of. Like, you didn't have that kind of continuity.
And the exploration piece, the early episodes still, like I have the DVD sets. The exploration of that world is, I don't think any other old cartoon show is really touching that, where they're expanding the map. They go to the gray areas. The mutants also crash there too. It's almost like Beast Wars later on did with Transformers, where they're like, two ships crash and they're stranded and they have to spread out and like they infect the world, which that was really cool. It also lends very much to like old school D&D, where it's like there's a tower here and you have to maneuver through the tower, and old some Duke lived here, like very D&D inspired.
Like they break the seal
calls.
and then Groon is the destroyer is ripping the world apart, and you're just like, what? That's amazing. You know, like kind of like
really,
there's some really good,
still a good storytelling aspect, and it gives so much room for the artists and animators to be like, well, they just haven't discovered this pocket over here, so now there's this. Like, genius, very good story.
Yeah, it was the other thing that Thundercats did better than anybody else, and I'm sure of this in my mind, and maybe I'm wrong, but to me, was they pulled off the magic trick of having a main hero who was super relatable to kids, but wasn't a stupid kid.
Yeah.
That is a good point.
Right?
Yeah.
We always want to be asked, I want to be He-Man. I want to be Duke. I want to be Snake Eyes. I want to be this hero. But they're an adult and I don't understand them yet. Where they're like, Lionel's a kid, but he's in this big body. So he's like exactly what your dream is. You're like, that is my perfect hero, is a guy who, because there was one episode where he was like figuring out how to use the Sword of Omens. He used to jump around. He wanted to kill a deer just because it was there.
Right. Yeah.
I was like, that's a very kid thing to do. And the sword wasn't working. And Snarf's like, well, no, you can't use it to kill a deer, Lionel. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was,
I mean, they even got to the point where they graduated Snarf off of him. Like they were like, he's got it now. He doesn't need a constant babysitter. And Snarf kind of like hung out at the Thundercat lair for the rest of the series, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But while we were kids watching a kid in an adult body, we grew up to be kids in adult bodies.
That's true. I don't know exactly what you're talking about.
Says the man in the Batman mask.
Joe, Batman, it's weird. You sound a lot like Joe, and he was supposed to be here on this.
Yeah, he said he couldn't make it.
Wait,
this is like a Pokeroo situation.
Wait a minute.
I've never seen Commissioner Gordon and Batman together in the same room.
Yeah,
I cut my lip shaving that mustache off really fast.
Totally. Giving away.
Yeah.
That's kayfabe. We don't talk about the
Space Commander brings up a great point of Captain Shazam Marvel as being a kid in the big body.
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's true.
Yeah.
Before they ruined it.
Before Disney ruined it.
Yeah.
So, but and again, I just remember no other theme song permeates me like the Thundercats.
Fantastic.
Except for the X-Men animated theme song.
X-Men, Batman, Teenage Ninja Turtles, Thundercats.
Yeah.
Best four of all time.
Thundercat, absolutely. Yeah.
I will say X-Men's a good theme song. No lyrics though, and the Thundercats lyrics get stuck in my head all the time. I will
And everyone gets their own theme song.
Pardon me?
What?
Everyone in Thundercats get their own theme song as
I
well.
learned that one the hard way. I made a Thundercats video, and I just had like backing Thundercats music, and then somebody was like, "This is Chitara's
Why are you?
music."
Yeah, why are you playing Chitara's music?
Yeah. And I was like, what? And I
know.
learned something, which is good. Positive impact on my life. I learned something. So the next Thundercats video
I'm learning that right now. I don't think I ever picked up on that.
Like in the show, they had their own music. You mean like their intro
Yeah, they
music?
had their
Yeah,
own
like
themes.
so my son picks up on that now. He'll be like, "Oh, I love how he gets his song when he comes on." I'm like, "Yes, like that cues
Oh, you
them
know
to
what?
be like,
I do know what
"It's
you're
really-
talking about because when you'd hear
Yeah.
certain music, you'd be like, "Oh, this is a Tiger episode."
That's
you know,
theirs.
or whatever.
Yeah,
like you'd know.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I do
yeah,
know what
yeah,
you're talking about.
I just want to talk to Keep On Collecting for a second. He's asking
not
a
a
very
box.
valid point. He said, "Late to the party.
No.
Why is Dom wearing a box?"
It's not Cyberjack on.
If we knew why, we'd tell you. We don't know.
Don't say Cyberjack off.
No, on,
Yeah.
on. Look, it's an E frame. It's an E. He knows.
It's
trolling
obviously
me.
an E frame. It's so
Yeah, it's
clear.
obviously-
It's
he's
clear
just
as
trolling.
day.
Radar.
Yeah, it's clear.
It's got the radar and everything.
Yeah, the radar
it's
dish
clear
is
as
on there.
day.
This is a.
Adam, I have a question for you.
Talk to
Do
me.
you currently watch Thundercats? Have you watched it recently? Do you watch it with your son, maybe, or?
So actually, my daughter and I watch Thundercats together. That's one of our shows. So
Same.
I like to have shows with my son and shows with my daughter, and so my daughter and I are Thundercats fans. So she's actually very invested in my Thundercats collection. Growing.
How old is your daughter, Adam?
She is 12.
Okay, I'm way behind you. She's only 4.5, but that's the exact same thing I'm doing now. So I've actually watched a lot of Thundercats recently.
Yeah.
First, it was just showing her the intro to just be like, "This is Lion-O. That's who you're playing with right now," kind of thing.
right.
And I was collecting the Super 7 line, so as those came out, she'd be like, "Who's this?" And I'd be like, "All right, let's just watch a Tiger episode." You know, so I could start showing her what was going on or who these characters were. And it helped her understand my obsession with them. So, I mean, you know.
No,
And now she's obsessed.
and
It's
now
fun.
there is this like overarching, I guess, collective idea
Mhm.
that Thundercats would have been better if they would have been the same scale as He-Man. That's brought up in almost every
That's
Thundercats discussion.
Not
No?
wrong.
No,
I,
no.
I disagree.
Yeah,
think
I do
that
too.
They stand alone, and they don't need to like. They don't need He-Man to be cool. I think the Thundercats.
Oh,
universe
no,
is
not at all.
exactly. You can just play with the Thundercats. It's great. And if
I
you're-
was a big stickler for scale, though.
No, but that works because they're anthropomorphized animals. They're mutants. They're
No,
bigger
yeah,
than
no, I
humans.
get it,
Like
yeah.
I
But
blend.
I didn't.
only
My
had
brain. That's what I'm
two,
saying. My
so,
brain didn't
yeah.
operate like that when I was that
Yeah,
young.
yeah, 100%.
Like I was just like,
Yeah.
this isn't right, and I would not play with them together.
But so
Um,
that's my one. That's my one of my favorite cartoons. Is there any closing thoughts before we move on from Thundercats?
I actually had a question for Gaz. Gaz, I know you're a mwah guy and a Megaforce guy in G.I. Joe. Are you also a Thundercats dude? Are you an '80s all-around '80s kid?
I'm an '80s kid, but I wasn't a fan of Thundercats. Unfortunately, I'm
And
sorry.
booted from the
Sorry.
stream.
No, a buddy
Okay.
of mine had the Thundercats toys, and he had He-Man toys, so I never got any of them because he had them
okay.
all. So when we would play, and I wasn't particularly into either one toy line. I watched the He-Man cartoon,
Yeah.
a little bit of Thundercats. So I would always, just because I didn't like the toys really, I would always grab like Panthro if we were playing He-Man,
Mm,
just because he
Oh,
wasn't
Panther is the
He-Man.
best one.
Yeah.
I agree. And
Oh,
Zazel,
but
you just
yeah.
did.
Panther.
But we did mix them all together and just play.
Yeah, I was.
the way
My
to
favorite
do it.
Thundercat was Tigra. I thought the second version of Tigra was a perfect action figure.
Yeah, yeah. Tiger
Why we're
is-
soulmates,
You
Adam.
just did Zazel just did a short with his entire Sergeant Slaughter collection, which was really cool. Are you a big
Oh.
Thundercats fan too?
I watched the cartoons, but the toys were few and far between. So I didn't really have any in the collection. You'd only see a couple on the pegs, and that's either
yeah.
because they were either really popular or they just didn't send them out our way. And again, living in the top end of Australia, you were lucky to find really anything. So yeah, toys not so much. Cartoon, absolutely.
Fantastic.
And then Adam, can I tell everyone to hit the like button? And also, this
want
is a
to.
cartoon Saturday morning block. We were at Zazel's. We're here following this one. We're going to talk Batman the Animated Series Nexus Squad over on Toy Domination Channel too. So I just want to make sure everyone keeps the Saturday morning cartoon going in. Does everyone still have their cereal? Mine's pretty soggy. at this
I-
point.
Yeah, I didn't add milk for that reason.
I'll through my box real quick so that I could have one and done. Because if I allow myself to just keep going, I'll eat a whole box of cereal. And that's
Oh yeah, I can't keep eating that.
Number
much
one
cereal.
mistake, this gag. Number two, pouring milk into my now floating cereal that is
Oh,
just
I
slosh.
ate my
Yeah.
cereal. Yeah, I
Yeah,
ate it.
no.
you got to eat it.
No, I tried. The box really got in the way. I have milk and like Rice Krispies all over the floor down here. It's disgusting. My lap is wet. And let's transition.
Before we do that, this is gonna be our final word on Thundercats. Is that
Yeah.
Thundercats rule, but Thundercats roar is utter poop poop poop.
Ruined.
Ruined.
Wait. What is
Thundercats Roar is a Teen Titans Go style Thundercats show.
Haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's,
Oh,
there's some.
Don't do it to yourself.
There's
Don't
some
ruin
things
the- don't ruin the
need to
image.
go. Just let us live and let it be perfect.
but I really like the Bandai version or the re-animation when it came out.
I never saw that.
really
Yeah, I saw
enjoyed that.
bits of that. But it
People
looked
crapped
great.
on it so hard, but I thought it was very much like the He-Man 2000X one. I know that's a segue, but I heard all negativity and I was like, well, let me see. And I was like, this is really good. I don't know what you people are
it was
complaining about.
good
Yeah.
storytelling, but it just
Yeah.
wasn't my Thundercats, right? Like as good as it was.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
Yeah,
there you go.
I'm all.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Like, I love Thundercats. That cartoon is fantastic. It's the one I'm showing my daughter. However, if she saw the other one and got excited for it and wanted to watch it, I'd embrace it. You know, it's not for you. It's for the newer kids. You know, like let them have their.
The point that I try to make when it comes to animation for kids today is that people say this isn't for you, it's for your kids. True. And they say it's drawn this way and animated this way to appeal to kids. Yeah, true. But they didn't draw them that way to appeal to us when we were kids. They didn't dumb it down. We had good, top quality animation, brilliant stuff. Masters of the Universe, Transformers, G.I. Joe, Thundercats, Mask, all of those animated beautifully, and none of it was dumbed down for audiences.
I don't
Today's
disagree with
animation-
you
I-
on a lot of
yeah.
those notes, but But what I mean when I say it's for your kids, I just mean it's their iteration. So it's like it's up to them to like or dislike
Yeah.
it, you know. And like I try to show my child quality cartoons that that I deem passing the test or whatever.
Yeah.
But like that
Yeah,
kind
we
of
still
thing.
have our cartoons. They still
Yeah.
exist. So we can.
Thundercats
not
Roar is
complain
their
about them.
Tiny Toons, or or they're Animaniacs, you know.
I think that subject alone, Zazel. I know Adam's trying to transition here. I think that is something that I definitely want to be able to speak later on. I like champion the modern, like, whoa, there's good stuff out there, but I don't want to derail this further. But yes, I think Joe and I are not anti that point, but also being like, hey, look, there's actually like Avatar: The Last Airbender, one of
so good.
possibly the best animated, non-dumbed down, wonderful, just all around, like hits the blocks to everyone. So definitely a conversation to be had. Like I'd love to be able to
for
talk
sure.
about it. Yeah.
But speaking of great animation,
Yes.
dynamite animation. If we take a look
Yes.
here at these guys,
Oh, it's so good.
right? It's just perfect. Right?
Ghostbusters.
It was just getting pumped up when this came on Sunday morning or Saturday morning. It was.
Oh yeah.
It was just fantastic. It was in the same continuity as the movie, which
Yes, yeah.
was really cool. So again, one of our adult collector kind of like retroactive. We say like, oh, we never got any movie toys and it's real bad and whatnot. We got these Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
And these Ghostbusters were great. I didn't care that they didn't have brown suits on. It was just the Ghostbusters.
I think they were close enough to the movie that
Absolutely.
I still enjoyed it, and thought of them as those characters.
And they even had episodes that like bridged the movie and the show. So you saw them get rid of their old uniforms with the marshmallow stuff on them, and then don the new ones. So, but this one, I would wait for that theme song, and if I was getting my next bowl of cereal, I'd like run in because you wouldn't want to miss even the intro of this.
Yeah.
And again, these toys look just like the show. Like they did a real
great job.
toys into the show. And so when you saw what you had in your hand on the screen, it made it even more exciting. And so there's something about that, and there's also something about like as a kid, the ability to not be scared of ghosts anymore, right? Like we're gonna flip the script of like ghosts are scaring kids, and then be like, you know what? I ain't afraid of no ghosts, right? And it was this whole idea.
He's afraid. Don was afraid. He had to go.
I'm still afraid.
Yeah,
Well, at first I was afraid, and then I was petrified.
right? But also, so this one, not to the same extent as Thundercats, but continuity kind of mattered here because there would be episodes that would connect together. But this one just ran for so long. It was a staple of our childhood for years, right? The toy line went on and on and on and on. The show went on and on and on. And so it was like a comfortable blanket where you're like, no matter what the new slate of cartoons was, Ghostbusters was always there.
Yeah.
I also did enjoy the Filmation Ghostbusters that Peppermint Oil Capsule, aka Space Commander, threw in the chat there. In fact, I used to. I don't know.
I honestly liked them both.
It was it Kong? Was his name Kong? Really?
Yeah.
I don't remember his name being Kong, but yeah, okay.
So Tracy, I used to use. He'd do double duty as a Ninja Turtle mutant as well.
Yeah.
A big gorilla man. But that was a cool cartoon too, and I like that with the real Ghostbusters, as they called it. I like that they came with a ghost because
yes,
if busting makes you feel good, you need something to bust. And to be fair, most of the ghosts that you got were really packaged with the guys because everything else was more like a monster than a ghost, like a Wolfman and the Mummy and Dracula.
Yep. So I was going to say, the only thing I would have changed with that toy line.
Dom said, "Let him back in, Adam."
I'm here. Let me in.
Listen, juice box, ladies and gentlemen, fruit punch.
I'm not
Also,
trying
it's
to be a
hilarious 'cause
distraction.
I'm also trying. You guys are talking, and I'm like answering a phone. Like, yes,
It's the bat signal. Is it Commissioner
I went
Gordon?
to click comments and I accidentally hit sign up for free and it took me out of here immediately. I was like, no. So then I was just hanging out backstage doing a butt dance. Being like,
Oh,
what do you
Zazel,
mean?
I was
So,
already upset that my phone was not red when I was answering that phone call.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, if only this phone was red.
So a couple comments here. So Danjamin says the real Ghostbusters was great. The movie was perfect, and he's not.
It's a perfect movie.
So but what that was you had a perfect movie you could watch, and you could get more of that story on Saturday morning.
You know, honestly, for me, it was way more the cartoon than the movie. I did see it as a child, but I was young, and I probably went it one ear, went out the other. And also, my parents were probably like, "We should probably not let him watch that again," you know, kind of thing. And then I just went
That
straight
librarian
cartoon for
ghost
me.
scared the
Yes.
hell out of me.
Horrifying.
Also,
And there's
Slimer,
drinking and there's smoking and it's adult themes. It's not a kids movie.
No, definitely
Ghostbusters 2. I still like Ghostbusters 2, but that's a kids movie.
Yeah.
And Slimer definitely like, and it's not bad now. Like we watched the new, what's it called, Afterlife, the Ghostbusters Afterlife
Yeah.
with my
Oh, yeah.
boys, and they really loved it. And then we watched the next weekend the first Ghostbusters. Like, well, if you like that, maybe you'll like this one. And it was a little dry, but they started getting into it. You know, like after the first act, like, oh
It's
wow,
kind of it's adult humor. I mean, it's an adult movie.
So there are so many good lines in it. But then I showed them the animated series and like, we really like this. Like, you know, they went into it and Slimer, like looking at it from adult, but also seeing my boys next to me, I was like, oh, yeah, that's why they did that. They absolutely love that goofy ghost. And they're like, that's what he should have been in the movie. Like they wanted the one time they saw the monster to be like that in the movie. I'm like, man, you guys are geniuses. Like,
But the one thing I would have done if I was Kenner back in the day with the line was I would have released like 5 packs of these guys.
Yes.
That would have been brilliant. Yeah.
Right? Just like here's more ghosts because you nailed it, Zazel. This is the ghosts I want them to fight. I don't want them to fight a football player who turns into a monster.
Correct.
I don't want them to fight a haunted toilet. I just want them to.
I just want more of those. Yeah, just as many of those as you can get. I will say this though, like as that toy line got more gimmicky, it didn't dumb it down though. It kept it like because it was just as ridiculous as the idea is in the first place. Like so, like yes, a transforming toilet is insane, but like you know that's also just like oh keep bringing them on. More ghosts the better, you know, kind of thing.
It went and went and went, and it was groovy. And I have a bunch of them, but the only ghosts other than these kind that I have are the Universal monsters.
Gotcha.
Sure.
Those ones are pretty special toys.
There was
They did a great
one
job.
episode I remembered as a kid, and this is why that show stuck out to me. It was just holes. Like it was a hole that would pop up in an abandoned place, and a little monster would come out, and little tiny ones, and then the holes got bigger, and there was more, and there was bigger, and they were just all over the place. And at the end, it was a giant hole that like swallowed the whole place up, and they had to shut it, and it like inverted black hole sucked everything in. I was like, that was so cool because they weren't fighting a direct threat. They were fighting a dimensional rift. And I was like, that's awesome. And then watching it recently, there was definitely a Cthulhu-inspired episode where they went into the bottom of New York, and there was basically New York is resting on a huge turbine that was, and like all the slime was draining out. And my boys were like, "Wait, the whole city is resting on this?" Like it was, and they referred back to mythology or religion, if you want to call it. And I was like,
a gyroscope, I thought.
Yeah, and it was like, this is really cool. Like the layers upon this too. That was like a very deep and well thought out, plot or mythos or whatever you want to add in there too. I thought that was really good.
You were thinking of the turbine on the back of my car, Dom.
Oh, that's right. Vroom 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 vroom.
Yes. Durlian says that Fright Features was a fantastic idea. So the second series of Ghostbusters toys had the Fright Features.
Right.
Yeah. And so that second
I think they are afraid of some ghosts.
Yeah. But I remember being like, as a kid, those were the first toys that I was like, how did they do that? Or like in the Super
engineering.
Fright, I'm like, how did they make Ray's face scream by flipping around so fast that your eye can't see it? Like that
was brilliant, though.
That kind of stuff. I was like, this is incredible. And that's when. So that would be the first one. I was like, how do these toys work, and how can we take them apart, and how can we figure this out? So,
interesting.
That was great. But no, I bought my first Ghostbuster was Egon because it came with this ghost, and I was like, well, if I get this ghost, he can be Slimer. Like I can, he's close enough.
You can fudge it. Yeah.
You can fudge it. So that's why I picked Egon first. But no, I think accessory packs full of these things would even sell today. Like if you cast a bunch of these and sold like packets of these things, it'd be huge.
Especially the semi-transparent ones that could go over their heads, like the ones that fit over the characters' heads. Yeah, those.
Yeah, because you could just be like, "This one's now Egon's possessed" or whatever, kind of thing, and you're just like, it was just instant storytelling.
Yeah.
The mini ghosts you could get in the slime, though, right?
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Were they the same ones that were packaged with?
They were different colors, I believe. I think it was the same mold in different colors.
Right. A great idea, though. Same with when they did it with the turtles. They had little turtles in there.
Yeah. Everything had slime, and it was fantastic. We need more slime.
Slime was great and so tasty too. Just good stuff.
Actually,
just solid good stuff.
In an upcoming video I'm doing as a Dick Tracy playset video, and so a little sneak peek. One of the things I do is I make gray slime, and that's the bath for Lips Manalus.
Ah, cool.
They put him in there, and I was like, why wasn't this a thing?
Dick Tracy is something different.
That's dark, Adam.
Universe.
Well,
you're gonna swim with the fishes.
They sold the Lips Manalus figure with cement blocks on his feet.
Yeah, I know. I remember the cement blocks. I use them very frequently.
They're like, they're already doing it. Let's just commit and give them back.
That's true.
Like, I mean, we're already there. So, and this is another great thing was the Ecto Cooler drink box. Dom, you probably have very passionate thoughts about the Ecto Cooler drink box.
Well, no, because it's not red. It's not. Yeah, that's great, Adam. Good job.
Actually, based on sort of, and I'm using this term loosely, your craftsmanship, I'm assuming you're going for De Leon, and you should have painted it green.
So here's the thing. I left my spray paint outside and it hit 19 degrees. And when I went to go shake that thing out, so I quickly was like, "Oh, it's Thrax's E-frame, go!" So it went red. So my boys helped me with this, by the way.
So you're sitting. Oh, that's great job.
Don't blame them.
Yeah.
If
the kids did it, it's great.
Yes, exactly.
So you're sitting in a box with very little ventilation that's covered with spray paint.
I'm having no real effects with chicken happy upside downness.
We'll be the judge.
So, like Zazel, I also didn't have a ton of those toys, but some of my favorite, like my good buddy had like the firehouse and the car and so every time I went over to his house, I'd bring over like my two figures and be like, let's play Ghostbusters because I know you have everything for Ghostbusters. So like we would just go over there and that was the Ghostbuster house. You're just like, this is where I can play Ghostbusters because I can't do it at my place.
Do you want to hear?
I only got two figures.
Do you want to hear the most Canadian story ever?
The what? A what?
The most Canadian story ever.
Oh, yes, I'm buckled in.
So growing up, the first one I got was Egon, and then I got.
Was it someone's birthday present or?
No, it was just for me. It was just for me. But I got Egon, and then I got Peter. Those are like the two main characters, and then I got Winston. And so by the time, because I was gonna get Ray, they were out of stores, and it was already Fright Features. So I got a Fright Features Ray, but it was bothering me because I never had like the Proton Pack version of Ray. But every summer in Red Rock, which is a little town about 15 minutes from where my town, Nipigon, was, they had a Red Rock kids fishing derby, and so anybody who entered got a prize. But the rule was like a fishing derby. So you would go out and you would try and catch a fish. And if you caught a fish, you brought it back, but you had to be back at the place where you registered at 3:00. And if you caught a fish, your name went into this bucket. And if you didn't catch a fish, your name went into this bucket. But everybody got a prize. But the only rule they had there was no parents were allowed to go in the prize hallway. So
Okay, fair enough.
It was curtained off. You didn't get to see what was there.
I don't like
And
that.
it was just a hallway full of toys. But they also like had like lanterns and sleeping bags and coolers and fishing rods and like outdoor stuff. So they said if parents went back there, they would tell the kid to get says, I'll buy you a toy later. Just get this, $100 sleeping bag. Get that what you want. And so we went with my dad's friend Ernie and his kids. We all caught fish. We got into the early draw, and we always joked about like what would happen if you had to be picked first. Like what would happen? It was torture waiting for your name to be picked. And so the first name they picked was my buddy Riley. And my dad, he was like, you got first pick. And he came out with a little bag of Green Army Men. And he was like, I got my favorite thing. And his dad was like, get in the truck, Riley. Like, and then like every name that's called.
You let me down, son.
Right. But everything that's called, you're like, that's one more prize I don't get to pick from. Like, is there going to be anything good? And it's full of stuff. I mean, we're always happy every year, but you're like, is it going to be good? I don't know. It was like the biggest stress of your life was waiting. And they called my name and I went in there and they had, I guess someone had old stock they donated and they had a Ray with the Proton pack. And I was like, whoo, fishing derby win. So I completed my Ghostbuster collection by catching a lake trout in Lake Superior.
Wow.
That is a superior. I was going to ask Gaz a question, but Gaz is bailed. But
So
that
was
is a
like
superior Canadian adventure.
Yeah.
So I didn't have a lot of Thundercats, but I did have a bucket load of Ghostbusters. We
mix those two. I crossed those streams.
You crossed the streams.
nailed
it. The thing about growing up with brothers is that we were, when you got things like Ninja Turtles, when you got Ghostbusters, when you got Voltron, you often got the complete set of major figures.
I also experienced this on many different occasions. Yes.
And the sad part, obviously, is that you have to compete. But I used to very quickly decide not to worry about fighting for the most popular character, like Venkman or Raphael or whatever. And I would often go the second tier, and often the second tier would then become my top tier.
Right.
So Fisto instead of He-Man, Egon and Winston, I got to double up on those two because everyone wanted to be Ray or Peter. So I got to have two in that occasion. Donatello and Leonardo, I got to get two in that scenario. I didn't really like Leonardo so much. His face sculpt, it makes it like he looks like he's miserable. If you look at that Ninja
he's
Turtle
the weak
figure,
point of the face sculpts.
he's definitely, and he's supposed to lead. But yeah, we had all the Ghostbusters. We had a plethora of slime and ghosts. It was all good fun. In fact, we ruined Mum's vacuum cleaner because we shoved it in a backpack and took it outside for an adventure to bust ghosts with the hose. Yeah, hole in the wall gang. That's a whole different thing when you grow up.
No. Joe has that same, or if Joe was here, Batman. Joe has that same thing too, which is kind of funny. He's like, I always got Robin because my older brother was Batman. Like, I thought that was
when we got the Turtles, I got Michelangelo. My other two brothers got the other ones. The next time around, we got Splinter, Shredder, and the Last Turtle. So on and so on. It was just, it always worked out. I had two brothers, and we just kind of like, we would very quickly acquire the core group of whatever toy we were going after at the time. Mm-hmm. And then eventually my older brother would stop playing with them, and I would have them,
And you still do to this day.
And I still do. This is actually from 1990, and I liked it so much that it broke. My dad riveted this strap back onto the to the mask.
Fantastic.
Before he was shot in an alley? Is that what you mean?
It does look kind of does kind of look like I would. Yeah, I mean he was murdered later, but that's
sadly.
Fantastic. Well, guys, this has been fantastic, but we are going to, in short terms, head over to Toy Domination, which is Joe's channel that Juicebox is on sometimes. And Fantastic. And we're going to talk about Batman and the Fry Kids, I think, is what we're going to talk about.
Yeah,
over
the
there.
Fry Kids.
Exo
A little grimace. A little grimace.
Squad.
So
We're going to talk about Happy Meal toys and Batman the Animated Series.
exactly. So I will post the link in the description here of my video, so you can quickly head over there. And then we will have all the more Saturday morning fun. This is what happened when you got to be about 9:30, whereas you knew that you had some left, some fun left, but it was coming to an end soon, and it was going to be chore time. So you had to really enjoy the last little bit of Saturday morning cartoons before you had to like clean your room or mow the lawn.
Yeah, we got a couple of killer cartoons coming up though.
Yeah, no, you guys got some top shelf picks, 100%. And so, thank you guys for hanging out, just like we'd hanging on Sunday or Saturday mornings, and we will see you over at Toy Domination.
See ya.
Bye bye.
Thanks for having me.
Anytime.